Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 32nd installment of Bullsitting on TSWS Gaming. This week we have Microsoft firing back at the CMA, essentially taking a hot one on Jim Ryan's plate, while also covertly laying off almost 1,000 employees. Callisto Protocol not missing a chance to kick Gotham Knights while it's down, and the legendary G4TV finding out what happens when you tell people not to watch your content. I'm your host, Log7, and joining me today is the lovely Cozy Beluga. Cozy, are you there? Is she there?
Is my thing?
All
Did my
right.
thing go away? Did it go away?
No, you're still there.
Okay, we also have Ham Solo
What up?
and the heat-seeking missile of gaming, Sentinel 17.
How's it going?
Before we partake in this week's session of digital savagery, Cozy, how are you feeling, Rosie?
Yeah.
What you been playing this past week?
What have I been playing? Mass Effect? Lots and lots of Mass Effect.
All right. So same old, same old. Ham Solo, are you? What have you been playing this past week?
I beat Scorn. Yeah, whatever. I beat Scorn. Been playing some NBA 2K23, of course. Been playing Midnight Club Dub Edition and Blitz of the League, and I'm almost done with Plague Tale Requiem.
Oh, okay. How's that going?
I believe I'm on.
And some people are saying it's Game of the Year material.
I'd be the one to say it's closer to like being on the Game of the Year list. It's not mid at all. The game is a huge step forward from the predecessor. The story is insane, and just the stuff that you go through, the people that you meet, it's much deeper than Innocence. Much deeper. I recommend it to be played. Especially if you played the first one, then I 100% say you have to play Requiem.
So Requiem is not Innocent at all. I played the first one, and I'm definitely looking forward to this one when I find some time. Sentinel 17, what have you been playing?
I mean, I've been live streaming a couple of the Walking Dead games. I finished with season 2 earlier this week. I've been playing a lot of Forza Horizon 5, especially with the with the anniversary updates and everything. And then last night I started playing Modern Warfare 2. So it's been a busy week.
Ooh, that campaign looks nice from what people have been sharing.
Yeah.
It's like the realest looking one I've seen.
Sometimes it's challenging though. You know how like the older games weren't really as challenging? This one is challenging because it's kind of more realistic. So, it's been a little difficult at times.
Okay. All right. So Cozy, you haven't played Scorn, Plague Tale, Persona.
No.
Damn.
There's 3 games that I would not play. Scorn is the closest, but the more people show it off, the more I'm like, that's disgusting. I'm not touching that.
Also,
Game is fantastic.
I don't really care about the combat because
it's fantastic.
It's a combat game. It's a puzzle game, so I like that.
Cozy, I'm with you all the way to the bank. This shouldn't have been a combat game.
It's not a combat game.
All right, Cozy, when you play it, let's have a chat.
I beat it. I beat it, and I'll tell you that the combat wasn't as bad as you're making. As people are making it out to be like, man, this should have felt like they act like it should have felt like Call of Duty or like Mass Effect or something like that. Like it felt like you have tools and good luck. That's what it felt like in that game. And it's very finite in amount of stuff you get.
On the complete opposite end, dude. That gun is too finicky. It's not precise at all. For me, if you're going to put combat in a game, if you're gonna do it, right? I'm not saying be Call of Duty, but make that shit work. For me, it was too hit or miss. For me personally.
It sounds like you were just
Let's say,
missing a lot. That's what it sounds like.
yeah,
You were just missing a lot.
it's cool, dude.
Wow.
Say you can phrase it how you want. Point is, every game that I've played that's had combat was competent in it. And at first I thought I was the problem. And then I'm checking online and there's a whole bunch of people talking about the exact same issue. I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm not crazy. So no,
What
the
people said
combat,
is people were chasing it the wrong way, as if combat was like not also a puzzle as well.
It was.
again, Cozy, I don't mind a puzzle that includes
No, the
combat.
combat was the puzzle. Like, people chasing it like straight guns blazing. So if you run in a game that's a puzzle game, and even if the combat is like combat, and you're chasing it the same way that you would trace a game where you just run out and like. So anyway, I started shooting. Then it's not going to work the same, and people growing frustrated with the fact that they couldn't just run out guns blazing.
Okay, so for me, what I did was I spent like 2 hours just trying to figure out what was the exact distance between the little penis thing that comes out of the gun and the enemies, and then which and how to to get the one hit kill where when you
Did you
get to
switch
the
guns?
side you can switch.
Yeah.
It's just one gun. Oh, well, I only got the one gun, and then I went to the tower thingy. Is there like a second gun before you go to the tower?
Total throughout the game, there's like 3 to 4 guns that you end up obtaining,
No
and
problem. Maybe I missed
and
it.
and well, you run into it. So like if you ran into another like thing that gives you like ammunition and stuff like that, then you have it. But for the most part, the game pretty much tailors you to only use that gun that has like the thing that pops out. That you're supposed to use in like emergency situations. You're more or less supposed to just run around. Or better yet, I feel like a lot of people are trying to rush through the game, because if you do it right, you walk into the area to like trip the enemy, right? So the enemy starts to walk towards you or whatnot. Then you backtrack and let the enemy go into its crevice, and then you continue. That's the way you're supposed to do that in that game. But a lot of people are trying to run up and kill every single thing, and it's like, dude, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose if you try to do that. You're supposed to go out, trip them, come on back, and then the enemy has their route. Like every single enemy has their route where they will come out and like do their rounds, and then they'll go back into a crevice. And then at that point, you just run right by and get to the next area until you eventually get a gun that does spray out, because you'll get a shotgun later on, and you also have a pistol eventually, and they're all tied to the same thing. So he just like pops the top off, pops the other piece back on, keeps it moving, and you get really finite amount of ammo. So you're supposed to, so pretty much when they give you ammo is when you need to use ammo. But that thing that like punched forward, I used that thing maybe 2 or 3 times until one of the boss fights later, in which you need that thing because you will run out of ammo, and it works perfectly in the moment that you actually need that thing. But for the most part, I didn't use that thing to fight at all. I just timed it and let people go back into their crevices, and I ran right by them. It was an easy game for me.
All right. Well, Osha's,
But
welcome to the
you
stream.
run out
Please,
like just be like zoom, zoom, zoom. You can't do that in all games.
please tell us if you also enjoyed the crap out of Scorn like Ham Solo did. Um, Well, so I didn't finish Scorn for two reasons. One is because of the combat mechanics just didn't click
You're
for
out
me.
of your mind.
The second reason is because I've been super swamped at work. So I've preloaded Plague Tale, but I haven't found the time to play it. So maybe tomorrow, maybe on Sunday after church or something.
Plague Tale is so fucking good though. Especially if you're playing it especially if you're playing it the way I'm playing it. I mean, I feel like an asshole for saying it, but I'm playing it on PC with a 3080, looks fantastic, get good frames. Playing it off of Game Pass, so I didn't have to run out and pay for it right away. And then to layer it one level thicker, got the DualSense right here, so I get all the haptic feedback. So I'm playing that game at its utmost potential, and it feels fucking fantastic.
Wow, Ham. So are you done? Are you done?
I was massaging the shit out of myself. right there.
With it now, are you done?
Oh, I mean, I'm getting pretty close.
Don't forget to wipe.
I might have to turn off my camera.
Okay, let's get right into it. Acquisition Talk, the podcast. Microsoft posts a full response to CMA Phase 1 unwarranted theories regarding Activision acquisition. So let's go uh, beat by beat, right? So there's 4 pages, but we're not going to go through every single word. We're just gonna go by the bullet points that Microsoft presented in their counter argument. Number one, Sony PlayStation has been the largest console platform for over 20 years with an install base of over 150 million consoles, making it larger than Nintendo and more than double the size of Xbox. Ham Solo, are you okay with Microsoft essentially calling themselves the little engine that could?
All right, you're gonna need to rephrase that better.
Sony, I'm quoting Microsoft's first point here, saying that CMA's concerns are misplaced. Sony PlayStation has been the largest console platform for over 20 years with an install base of over 150 million consoles, making it larger than Nintendo and more than double the size of Xbox.
Okay.
Are you okay? Hi, Dilma. Are you okay with Microsoft pointing out that they're tiny compared to PlayStation?
No, I don't see it in that phrase.
How do you see it?
I just see it as, yo, you guys are the leader and you're trying to stifle as the leader. So it just seems weird. That's kind of the way I look at it. I don't look at it as poor Microsoft or poor Sony. I look at it as like, it's kind of like you've both been asking for this. Like Microsoft has been asking to get bigger since this generation has started. Sony has been pretty much saying nobody can mess with us. So that's the way that I look at both of these at the same time. So this whole like poor me situation on either side to me just looks ridiculous. Just do the damn thing, you guys, and quit pussyfooting around, because that's what it seems like. Like it seems like it seems like Microsoft is being really like, oh darn, like you're trying to do this, and I think a lot of people are looking for them just to lay the hammer down and just be like, yo, this is what we mean. We're not trying to beat around the bush about it. And then at the same time, I feel like Sony's just like, oh my God, like we actually got to do something now. And they're whining about it. And it just feels like two sorry ass brothers arguing over some fucking chips or something. That's what it really seems like. And it's just like, both of you guys need to grow the fuck up, figure out what you're going to do and just do it. And stop talking to the fucking stop talking to the public so goddamn much. Both of them, even the CMA. You seem like a shitty sister in between the two brothers. Like, just get the fuck over yourselves. Like all of you guys. I mean, I'm tired of them. I'm tired of both of them claiming to be doing this for consumers. They're not doing it for consumers. They're doing it for a bottom line. Get over it.
Ham Solo out here gendering Xbox, PlayStation, and the CMA. Damn, you are trying to get canceled today.
Whatever.
Co- Cozy, are you at all surprised with this little nugget that Xbox is pointing out that PlayStation over the past 20 years is larger than Nintendo?
Here's my final statement.
Well, that's it?
Oh yeah.
Damn, Cozy's tired of acquisition talk. All right. Sentinel. Xbox, poor tiny Xbox. Are you done with that?
I mean, I kind of feel like I kind of feel like Phil Spencer's been saying one thing, and then for them to come out and say, "Oh, we're behind Sony and we're behind everybody," I think that's kind of poor on his part, but kind of necessary. And as far as Sony being bigger than Nintendo, they are as a company, not maybe as gaming goes. I mean, because Sony has movies and stuff attached, so they're bigger, more valuable than Nintendo. But as a gaming company, I think Nintendo is bigger than anybody.
Yeah, I really do disagree with that statement. I'm not sure, I haven't seen the financials, but the idea that Sony is bigger in gaming specifically than Nintendo is just,
Oh
it's
yeah, I
I
mean,
I
because
don't know.
there's no way that Sony's bigger than Nintendo because Nintendo's been around for what 40 years. You know.
Yeah. Ham, go ahead. You want to jump in?
Yeah, I was just saying that Steve is right. Like it's like Sony has like a bigger all around brand for just everything that they do, kind of like Microsoft does, right? But when it comes to gaming, Nintendo just does what Sony don't, what Xbox don't. And they really do in their own way. And in a way, like as scummy as Nintendo can be sometimes, I commend them for going their own route and not getting in this fight at all between all the different, IPs and stuff like that. They just do what they got to do to stay relevant to their community instead of, what you see at Microsoft and Sony is it's just like them copying each other back and forth and bitching about it.
Yep.
I mean, literally, the way Sony got off of the ground is the way Microsoft is trying to do it right now, and Sony doesn't like it. It's insane. They're literally copying each other and mad at each other about it. It's silly.
And to your point, the next point in Microsoft's response, it says Sony engages in conduct today which is reflective of its market power in console gaming, including increasing prices of its consoles without fear of losing market share. I think we can all agree that if Sony made the PS6 $700, it would sell gangbusters. Yes?
Well, yeah, I gotta kind of push back against that. So it just depends. So yes, it'll sell absolutely. But if Xbox comes out with literally pretty much the same thing at $500, it's going to be the 360 all over again. I
Yeah,
mean,
but the 360 still sold less than the PS3.
eventually, yeah, eventually. I mean, how many price cuts did PlayStation do before they actually started catching up?
A whole bunch, man. It was pathetic to see. It was a bit embarrassing. Okay, Sentinel, do you think that Sony could keep on increasing their consoles and it wouldn't change anything?
Um, I mean, I think Sony, they kind of feel like Sony right now needs to change things up because people are getting bored with them just kind of coasting. With PlayStation 4, they were really putting out a lot of great content and they were improving the value of their brand, but it feels like right now they're just coasting. So they could keep succeeding, but eventually people are going to get tired of it. Now they're going to want them to continue to innovate.
People get tired of greatness? For
No,
real?
people get tired of I mean, if it's only greatness if they keep pushing forward, but they're not pushing forward, they're just coasting.
I mean, that's what happened with my interests. Is sort of like they didn't. I'm one of those people that's like, love the PS3, and as much as there were a handful of great games on the PS4, it wasn't like the PS3. I didn't feel like a lot of the games or anything that came out were innovative. They were just a continuation. So yeah, I feel like especially with the whole you're right, especially with the whole just remaster after remaster and like, okay, thanks, another game that
All right. You guys don't like greatness, even when it's remastered. Okay. Got the message.
I really enjoy a lot of the PlayStation games, but it is kind of like,
give me something new.
It's a one-trick pony.
you did there.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Pun intended, absolutely. But let's keep it a buck. So a sports car is really good. A sports car is really good at being a sports car, and that's what Sony kind of seems like. PlayStation games are really good at being what they are, but I like the thing that kind of bothers me, I guess, a little bit is just the variety of type of games. And so like I understand a lot of people say, yo, Xbox Game Pass has like a lot of fodder and a lot of this and a lot of that, but it's like they got a lot. That's the point. They got a lot. So whether you like Football Manager, time out, because you enjoy it. You enjoy this, Loke. Don't act like you don't.
What?
Plague 12. They got a Plague Tale Requiem, and then you can turn around and play Football Manager, and then you can turn around and play something like Ark Survival Evolved, and then you can turn around and play a Gears of War, and then a Halo game. All of those games I just mentioned are way different. Some of those third parties, sure, but let's just talk about first party then. So obviously we got the racers, sure, GT7's there, right? But but then you got then you got Halo, you got Gears, you got Forza, you got Starfield that's going to be coming out, Grounded. Thank you. Grounded.
Pentiment.
Pentiment. That's about to come out.
I can.
Well, the point of this whole thought process is they're all
very green,
different. They're all crazy different games. What Sony first party games seem way different than other Sony first party games. You might be able to list a couple, but it's not many.
Outliers. Like most of their variety they haven't done a whole lot of variety for real since like earlier PS4 days.
Let's go to the chat for a bit. Stankmore saying Ham is botting hard. Yes, dude. You can feel Spencer's hand right up his ass. Just puppeteering this dude. Just damn, man. I don't even know how much they're paying you at Xbox. For real. But going back to your point about people saying that Game Pass has fodder. Dude, I completely disagree with that. Game Pass has no fodder. They've got too much quality. It's overwhelming. the
Oh no, I'm
amount
fighting
of
hard.
great. I'm just saying facts. Haters can hate all they want, but
Mine ain't facts,
every,
but I'm just biting. But
everyone that I
Locust.
know, that has looked at the selection of Game Pass games without bias is like, dude, this is crazy.
Oh, I
And
say this.
I
You're
feel
right.
every gamer that has Game Pass right now is getting out like a bandit. That's honestly my opinion. Go ahead, Cozy. Go ahead. You're saying something.
So I say
Move
this,
your
like,
mic back
as
a little bit,
someone.
Loke.
Oh no.
Okay.
As someone who was like largely has been an indie gamer for the last several
That better.
years, like Game Pass
Yes.
is just like giving me so much because it includes a lot of games that, indie games that aren't on my radar, indie games that are on my radar, and it's like basically giving me such a full plate. There's like, and I do agree, it's like got a lot for everyone, even especially if you're like an exploratory gamer and you're just like looking around, and they encourage that, and I appreciate that it's encouraged to like look at random games.
Yakuza. I would have never given Yakuza a second look. Game Pass, someone showed me a guide of how to play them. I was like, you know what? Let me give Yakuza 0 a go. And I was in tears after chapter 4. I'm not going to ruin it for anyone that hasn't played Yakuza 0. Do it. You owe it to yourself. High quality game. Let's go to the chat for a bit before Sentinel gets his licks in. Mr. Joanna Dark, welcome. Says, I've been enjoying Plague's Tale, Requiem, Persona 5 Royale, Scorn, Moonscars. Where do you find the time, dude? Where?
I know.
Halo, Gears, Doom, Dishonored, 1 and 2, Pentiment. Okay, you're not playing these games. There's no way you're playing. You're just listing games now. Sony hasn't provided.
He's talking about our conversation, and I just wanted to throw a shout out to everybody that's here real quick. So, like, One Bad Mother, Oshus, Dilma, Mr. Joanna
Stank
Dark,
Ma.
Doomsayers, of course, Stank Ma. He lives here pretty much. He doing this thing. Yeah, I really enjoy seeing Stank Ma damn near every time. But continue, look.
Joanna Dark says Sony hasn't provided weird variety since PS3 era and some part of PS4 era. Yeah, first party, no. But they're definitely getting all the third party weird games. So that's something. There's a game for everyone in Game Pass. I love the variety of genres they offer. Indie has been carrying video games. That's where you get all the fun and quirky. Yes. And Mr. Joanna Dark, can you give your keyboard a rest? Because damn, bro. Doomsayers Networks, what's up, everyone? Game Pass has some very good games, some fodder, but all services do. True, but it's the scale of fodder and quality. I don't think the ratio is right when you start talking to people because everyone makes it seem like 80% of it is fodder. I would say 80% of it is quality. The other 20% is fodder. That's just my personal opinion. All right.
To me, fodder would be like games that you 100% without trying.
Yes, and you don't find that stuff in Game Pass.
No, I mean you find
very rare.
Yeah. It's like a very rare like thing that you find in there, but for the most part, they're like dig in and feast kind of games.
Yeah. Okay. Sentinel, do you believe that Sony would still sell a lot of consoles if they increase their console to like $700?
I don't think they would.
Too close to PC.
Really?
Too close to PC prices.
Bro, they increased.
Well, it's like people want the PlayStation 5, right?
Yeah.
But if they're still making their exclusives available on the PlayStation 4, why would people sell their PlayStation 4? They can just play those games on PS4.
But Sony believes in generations.
Oh, I bet they do. Yeah. Like Jim Ryan believes in supporting the gamers. Please, nobody believes that anymore.
Ish. Okay, so you're clearly not a believer in Jim Ryan and PlayStation.
No, Jim Ryan's a businessman. He doesn't give a shit about gamers at all. He doesn't care. What he wants to do is stick his hand in that pocket and see how much money he can pull out.
Hold the phone. Hold on. Are you trying to tell me Phil Spencer cares about you?
Well, he cares about gaming. He doesn't necessarily care about.
Hey,
us
you,
as
you think Phil
individuals.
Spencer genuinely cares about gaming, not about making more money for Microsoft?
You don't see Jim Ryan playing Destiny 2 in the airport when he's traveling from one location to another. You see Phil Spencer
Oh,
doing
man.
that.
Dude, Phil Spencer, like, I'm not saying he's super rich. I'm just saying if I wanted, I could get footage of me playing whatever the fuck on
Yeah.
an airport.
What I'm saying though is you never see Jim Ryan doing that stuff. You know, with
Oh.
the PlayStation 1 Classic,
Even
he
if
said
it's fake.
he said who would want to play these games, right? He said who would want to play these games, not understanding that they have a certain sentimental value with people that grew up playing on PlayStation. He doesn't care about that. He cares about
That
the
was
money.
out of touch. That was out of touch.
So,
That was-
look, I got a question to ask you. Who would you rather have on your fire team of any game? Phil Spencer or Jim Ryan?
What do you mean fire team? What are you talking about?
Like Destiny has a fire team. Like
my
Halo
squad?
has a fire team. Yeah, your squad.
Well, of course, I'm taking Phil Spencer because there's some documented history of him actually touching a controller and pressing the buttons. I don't know if he's good.
Well, I think just that sentiment right there kind of proves Steve's point. He cares about gaming. He cares about it enough to know what to do in video games. He cares about it enough to play games out loud that he has no funding behind or actually just got purchased by the other guys. He has no problem coming out saying, yo, I'm excited to play the new God of War and whatnot. Are we going to pretend like this dude just literally... I mean, yeah, sure. Some of it is... a lot of it actually is for PR, right? Is to spread this peace sentiment. Sure. But at the end of the day...
if this dude was on Twitch, right, every week for like 2 hours, every week playing whatever, I would take the whole thing that he's a gamer more seriously and would look at it less as a gimmick than I look at it now.
I mean, like Jim Ryan, you gotta get you gotta tell him which way he's putting on his headset on his own platform.
Okay,
on his own platform.
Doomsayer in the chat says, but I don't want Jim Ryan doing that. His job is to run a business, but he also answers to higher ups too. Doomsayer, I completely disagree with you, bro. Completely. If you're selling whatever, I need to know that the people in the leadership positions know what they're selling to me. Okay? So I don't want
buying a TV at Walgreens from the prescription area. What the fuck?
Yeah. I need the guy. I need the pharmacist that's selling me the medicine to be super into medicine and measuring like a quarter of a pill, half a pill, a tenth of a pill, and what the effect is. I don't need him to be focused on the bottom line of the pharmaceutical company. That's how I see it. Oshus just outed himself. Says he recently earned 1,000 gamer score off Peppa Pig. Sentinel obviously calls him out. The shame, Oshus. The shame. He says he's not proud of it, but he was achievement hunting. Oh my God.
I'm judging.
These are the guys that show up. You did what, Cozy?
I'm judging.
Yes. We are all judging you. Oshus.
So I tried Peppa the Pig. My problem with Peppa the Pig game is it is not a good game. Like, I can play a game made for 5-year-olds, but that was just not a good game.
Yeah, Oshus, you gotta
It's
hold
a bad
that.
game.
Okay. It's getting a bit spicy in the chat. There's talk about lingerie. Guys, we're not trying to get banned off YouTube. I'm not going to read those comments. Let's move it along. The concerns from Microsoft go on to say, and I quote, The suggestion that the incumbent market leader with clear and enduring market power could be foreclosed by the third largest provider as a result of losing access to one title is not credible. There are more than 4,000 games available on PlayStation alone. I think Microsoft is being very disingenuous when they say this. Sentinel, do you concur with this statement by Microsoft?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's accurate. I mean,
No.
I don't know their percentages. I don't know if that's accurate. I know that believing Call of Duty is not the be all and end all. I mean, there's a lot of shooters out there. You know, you look at Fortnite. You know, it's big. I'd say Fortnite is probably bigger than Call of
Sentinel,
Duty.
please say that again.
Fortnite is bigger than Call of
No,
Duty.
no, no. You said Call of Duty is not what?
It's not the be all and end all of shooters. It's just not. It's not.
Sentinel.
I mean,
Sentinel.
I love Call of Duty.
Call of Duty is the highest selling game every year on PlayStation, first or second, every year on PlayStation since 2011. This game is not the be all end all.
Go away. When did SOCOM go away?
Dude, forget SOCOM. We're talking about this specific discussion.
Hey, so if Sony took money that they're money heading with, they invested in SOCOM, it would have a bigger budget than Grand Theft Auto 6. I'm just saying.
If a wish was a fifth, we'd all be drunk, bro. Let's not talk about hypotheticals. We're talking about the fact. Yeah, you said Call of Duty is not the be-all, end-all for Sony. Yes. I just stated a fact. This franchise every year has been number one or number two on sales for Sony since 2011, more than a decade. This game is not the be-all, end-all.
But you have to understand, is Call of Duty selling more than all the other games combined?
No, okay, maybe not combined. Maybe not combined.
You see what I'm saying? Because you add those up. You even add up number 2 and number 3, that'll probably outdo Call of Duty. So them, even if Microsoft wanted to take it exclusive, PlayStation is still going to be making their money. And you look at when Medal of Honor was big. No one cares about Medal of Honor now. I mean, it's gone. No, but back in the day, Medal of Honor was big, and it's gone now. So you could take Call of Duty off of PlayStation if Phil Spencer chose that route, and you could have a shooter that would still be extremely big, and it would fill the shoes of Call of Duty because there would be that opportunity.
All right, I think you capping hard. Stankmore agrees with me. He says relax. He says relax.
Right.
And I'm a SOCOM head. Go ahead, Cozy. Go ahead.
No, he's right. Sentinel is right. That's what I've been saying. This is what I've been saying, is that you cannot guarantee that Call of Duty will be big forever. People say, Call of Duty is the be-all, end-all because it's big now. But you cannot guarantee. There are games that were huge that just aren't a thing anymore. Like, years later. And it's like, who cares? You can't guarantee that Call of Duty, and someone else can fill that, spot if Call of Duty does get removed from PlayStation.
Ham Solo, go ahead.
Oh man, I love seeing you squirm like that, Loke. You just look so uncomfortable, and it makes my Friday feel
that's
a little
all that's
better.
happening right now. They capping hard for SOCOM. Dude, all this future talk, that sounds very Xboxy. That's all I'm saying. We're not talking about the future. We're talking about now. That's why these things are going for the prices that they're going for, because of the price they are worth now. Disney bought Star Wars for the billions that they bought them then. It's worth something else now. But at that moment, it was worth X. So when we're talking about Call of Duty and the impact it has, we're talking about it now. We're not talking about it in 2026. We're talking about it now.
All right, Loke.
Ham,
I want you to be crisp. I want you to be crisp when you ask me this question.
All right. It's not a question, really. It's just a statement. Microsoft said the suggestion that the incumbent market leader with clear and enduring market power could be foreclosed by the third largest provider as a result of losing access to one title is not credible. there are more than 4,000 games available on PlayStation alone. Do you agree with this statement or not?
Oh, I 100% agree with this statement.
You agree with it?
I agree with that statement.
Thank you. Ham is the only one not capping today. Sentinel and Cozy, y'all need to get off whatever you're smoking. Go ahead, finish your point, Ham.
I agree with that statement. More or less because if you take away Call of Duty from PlayStation, you will see a different PlayStation immediately. Their money consumption will die fast because they, as much as they cap for first party stuff, and as much as the fanboys are on Twitter and Facebook and everything saying, you know, these first party sales are fantastic, blah, 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 blah. Sony ain't happy with the first party sales. Sony is not happy with the first party sales. They're not happy with The Last of Us. They weren't happy with the remaster. They weren't happy with 2. They weren't happy. They're probably not going to be happy about the remake. God of War is one of their like most leveling games for PlayStation. If you want to talk about first party, God of War is pretty much it. Like holding the candle up high. Everything else is like more or less like, I know this is not going to go over great to like Naughty Dog fans, but I'd go as far to say as not Santa Monica, but
you stuttering, man. You stuttering a lot now.
Well, I'm trying to think of this. I'm trying to think of the name. Gorilla, Naughty Dog.
Oh yeah.
Gorilla and Naughty Dog, as great as they are, their games are still kinda in the beta section when it comes to PlayStation and is it worth to continue. Story-wise, 100% great, sure, to a lot of different people. But is this gonna?
Horizon for me is pretty mid, but okay.
Yeah, sure. I mean, in my opinion, it's okay. But like when it comes to making dollars, when it comes to making big money, that's the reason they're re-spinning off these games, is because Last of Us didn't hit that bar that they wanted. Aloy, Horizon didn't hit that bar that they wanted. They're having to sell consoles with that game to keep it up top. Yeah, they're going to do that with God of War, sure, but God of War is like an automatic, like people are going to buy this and really want to play this specific games. I know people that bought the bundle with Horizon and haven't even played Horizon. They just bought it because it was the available piece to get PS5. There's a ton of people out there.
Let's go to the chat because Ham is getting salty here. You're too green right now.
What I'm saying, long story short, Loke, is what I'm saying is PlayStation needs Call of Duty to continue to succeed, or else they are sinking. And Jimmy pretty much came out and said that. So I mean, to look surprised, Loke, I think that's wild.
It's because of multiplayer.
Wait, Ham. Hold on. Hold the phone. Hold on. Ham. No Call of Duty equals RIP PlayStation.
It equals from you know that song started from the bottom, now we're here. It might be starting from the top and now we're mid.
Oh yeah. That could happen.
And that's exactly what I'm saying, because they didn't make all this crazy money off of selling a copy of Call of Duty. They made it off of microtransactions within Call of Duty.
80% of the player base was on PlayStation. So whatever they spent in Call of Duty, PlayStation got a percentage. Let's go
Stankma
to
in
the
the chat. Stankma in the chat said need question mark. Yes, need.
Hold
You
on.
don't
Let's
you
get
do not
there.
see you do not see Jim Ryan saying hold the phone, Overwatch. Oh my god. You don't hear him saying that. You hear them saying
Oh man.
Call of Duty. You don't hear him talking about King, which is going to clearly make more than Call of Duty in the long run.
Way more.
Way more. You don't hear them complaining about that because that isn't indirectly affecting them at the moment. Maybe 5-10 years down the line, if Microsoft said, hey, we're acquiring King and Sony was in the mobile space really well, that would bother them then. But as of right now, it's like, yo, what is making us keep this train not just moving, but chugging? And it's Call of Duty. It really is. Third party wise, absolutely. It 100% is.
Cap. Stop the cap, man. Let's go to the chat for a bit. Welcome, 108 Dragon, very wise head. And he says, I want to see those remake numbers. Dude, I'm very scared about those remake numbers. I made a bet with Ham Solo a couple of episodes ago, and I'm not feeling very confident. I said that the remake was going to make more money than the original, and I'm shaking in my boots right now. We'll see after it makes after 12 months. We'll see what happens. But
So you got to cyberpunk this one. Wait for the TV show to come out. Once the TV show comes out, you might have that second wind, Loke, to get what you need. Because look at what happened with Cyberpunk and Edge Runners. And that's a single player game.
I'm counting on Pedro Pascal, hashtag the Mandalorian, to come through and save me on this bet because I can't take any L from you. Doomsayer is threatening you, Ham. He says he's gonna come get you in the show when we guest on his show. 108 Dragon says Days Gone had a great story. LOL ? True. They don't support the devs at Sony.
Oh my god.
Osha says that's because Aloy Anoy. Damn.
Oh, damn.
I mean, I kind of, having watched that, it's like, why wouldn't she shut up? Like, that was kind of annoying. I watched someone play and I was like, does she ever shut up?
For real? Cozy, you didn't like it?
No, she wouldn't. She just like, I was just like, I don't like, when someone just like absolutely talks and it's obvious for the benefit of the player. It's kind of like grating.
Oh man. All right. Okay. This is gonna come off so sexist.
But
Don't women normally internally monologue with themselves that much? Is that not normal?
everyone thinks differently. I don't even think
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, it is like, but it was just kind of annoying. But anyway,
Okay.
I kind of
Anoy. I'm saving that one.
I kind of just miss Sony variety. And I think as bad as the Call of Duty thing is worrisome because it means they could lose a lot of but I think there is the ability for that niche to be filled. I think the bigger worry is, unlike Nintendo, who has variety, Sony does not. Like, you can get a whole variety of genres and styles of games on Nintendo. You can't really do, I mean, you can, but it's third party dependent. And Nintendo, their first party is all over the place. So, like, unless, they're dependent, like, Sony is dependent on that third party to fill those things that they don't do in a way that they previously didn't necessarily, I mean, kind of, yes, but they don't have, what I'm saying? Sorry. I had a lot of coffee.
Okay, let's go back to the chat. Stankmo says, "Stand from the top. Now we're mid. I am howling." Yes, that was Ham, Chef's Kiss. I don't know if you rehearsed that one, but that was perfect delivery, dude. 108 Dragon says Loke losing that bet. I love the series. I didn't even buy it. You don't support the devs. 108 Dragon, you don't support the devs. I'm unfollowing you on Twitter. Anyway.
It's getting messy.
Okay, you know what? Every time we talk about this whole thing about acquisitions, I'm gonna end it with one question. Cozy,
Yes.
is Microsoft going to succeed in the acquisition of Activision Blizzard? Just give me a yes or no.
Yes.
Ham Solo, will Microsoft succeed?
Absolutely.
And then he says it is a small voice. That is creepy.
In his
Sentinel, will Microsoft succeed?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes.
Bot Central in TSWS gaming, ladies and gentlemen. Let us keep it
I
moving.
wish we had a bunch of Sony fans here because they'd say the same thing. I mean, I've heard plenty of people from Sony that are big Sony fans saying, "Yo, this is gonna happen. PlayStation should just get out of the way."
And so like saying they'll succeed does not mean I agree with it, because I've already said I'm not like necessarily all about this acquisition.
It's not about agreeing with
But
whether it's
saying
moral
yes,
or
they'll
right.
succeed. So basically, it's like, yeah, it's them succeeding is independent about my feelings about it. It's not like because I'm such a bot. It's like because I think they'll succeed.
Okay, going back to the chat, 108 Dragon comes back and he says, I did the first 2 times, bro. 3 times is not the charm for 75 bucks. You know what? I'm not even going to fight you on that one. It's too many re-releases. It's too many re-releases of the same game. Stop, Sony. Stop.
And then they told us no Sly Cooper.
Okay, Cozy. Before you start going on your banjo, let's move on.
What? Fuck you. Excuse me. Oh my goodness.
The real Cozy just came out. The Callisto Protocol confirms global release date, performance mode. Let's make this brief, guys. I think it was kind of disrespectful that everyone was dogging on Gotham Knights, and Callisto Protocol, the official account, just came out. No one asked them. No one asked them anything. They just came out and were like, yeah.
There were rumors.
Bro, no one specifically went to the account and was like, yo, are y'all guys still releasing in December? And what's the frame rate? What's the frame rate look like? No one said anything. These guys are like, okay, let's just come out and randomly say we're still releasing in December and it's 60 frames per second.
No, because once doubt starts, it gets sown in all the other games that are going to be being released. So they wanted to make sure you knew they weren't screwing up like,
So Cozy, yeah? This was not a low blow?
No, I don't think it was low blow. I think it was them saying before, the rumor, because, people are dumb. People are going to be like, oh, well, if this happens with another game, this could happen with the game that I also want to play. So, just, what do you call it? When you clear up, you just want to make sure, set the record straight, make sure everything is clear and certain. Like, that is the case for that game. That will not be the case for our game.
Stop it. Before we go to Sentinel, in the chat, Stankmore says Cozy is definitely a bot, though. 100. I agree with that one. She a bot.
It wouldn't be if they made us another good Little Big Planet. I don't want Sackboy's Adventures. I want Little Big Planet. I want Mod Nation Racers. All the games I like from PlayStation are no longer a thing. So why would I stick with them? They don't make games I like anymore.
PlayStation has no games? Cozy said PlayStation has no games.
They have no games that I like.
Look,
why don't we drag this in?
I can give you PS3 games that I loved. I can give you like 2 or 3 games from PS4, and that was when I noticed they don't make games I like anymore. It was during the PS4 era.
He said it twice. PlayStation has no games. 108 Dragon says, how many times you bought Skyrim? I've bought Skyrim on PC. I bought the standard edition on Xbox, and I bought the anniversary edition. And if I'm being honest, right, I haven't finished one of them. I haven't gotten halfway on any one of those ones. 108 also says Gotham Knights runs great. Just finished streaming. Awesome game. Oh, okay. All right. Ham. Callisto Protocol. Saying what they said. Was the timing? Was that a low blow, or it's just a coincidence? Everything's fine.
I think it was a little bit of trolling, but also just laying down the facts. So of course, when something's having, when there's a big game that's coming out and another big game is kind of having their issues, sometimes,
yeah, let's call it that.
Sometimes companies look at that as an opportunity to, level up off of it. It is a little bit icky, but I don't cry foul. You know why I don't cry foul? Is because Gotham Knights did it to themselves. They really did.
Well,
like to be honest,
game of the year.
It can be a fantastic game, sure. But knowing the specifications that we figured out right before the game comes out, it seems like they hid that. So, yeah. I mean, in a way, I'd say, yeah, they kind of caused their own havoc. And another company said, you know what? Since you're having a hard time, let me go ahead and have a good time while having a rough moment. Let me laugh at your expense just a little bit. You'll be fine. I'm just going to laugh.
All right. 108 Dragon says, Lord, got him. Yes, they got me good. Sentinel, was it a low blow for Callisto Protocol to do what they did to Gotham Knights?
Not as much of a low blow as it was Gotham Knights announcing that right before the game released.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Because I feel like Gotham Knights not telling people 2 months ago, hey, this is what to expect beforehand, was a low blow to everyone who wanted to pre-order that game. And it's not so much that the 30 frames per second isn't my issue. It's that there wasn't a choice for 60 frames per second at all. That's my issue with it.
For a next-gen only game. That is so weird.
Because it's like they could have said 30 frames per second, 4K ray tracing, or 60 frames per second at 1080p. Give people the option, but they didn't give people the option. That was my issue with it. So them doing that, to Gotham Knights, Callisto Protocol developers, it wasn't really that much of a low blow. It was kind of saying, hey, we're not gonna, put you in the same position as this developer over here did. It's just my take on it.
It really did feel like they beat around the bush and waited to garner as much cash as they could, and then somebody was like, "Yo, they waited until somebody reviewed it, essentially, to be like, this doesn't quite run right, and then they're like, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, it's 30, and there is no day one patch for you, dog. It's just what it is, and we're not prepared for 4-player. You're going to have to play 2 for a little bit until we figure some things out. And it's like a lot of bad news and not a lot of good recovery from it.
Yeah. Okay. Stankmore and Dre Watson definitely agree with Sentinel. Dre Watson also says, I don't think people are dumb. It's mostly just people want clarification on these games and they're boasting about performance. Yes. Just be honest with us. That's all we want.
I kind of feel like it was a Cyberpunk issue. Remember how the developers knew that it wasn't ready, and they wanted to delay it?
Buy that shit. I'm still pissed.
Oh, but you understand what I'm saying, because the developers knew it wasn't ready. And the developers wanted to delay it, and upper level management said, we're not delaying it again. It's going to hit this release date. I feel like that's what happened with Gotham Knights, because it was already delayed before. They wanted the release before Halloween. Developers internally were probably like, we need to have this option in there for gamers, and management was like, we're not allowing you to delay it anymore. Make that launch window. That's why you didn't have the option. That's what it feels like, and that's why I think they'll have that option in 90 days. Because they needed time to work on it.
Yeah, but Sentinel, I'm going to push back a little bit. The concept, spot on. The example, I'm not with you on that one. It's like comparing the disappointment of, I don't know, having James Harden on the Sixers and having freaking Russell Westbrook on the Lakers. I mean, it's bad, you know. Gotham Knights
Yeah.
is it's pretty bad, but Cyberpunk, dude, that
I
was
also think
it was
like a lot of times,
unplayable.
It's the same because it had tons of issues and the developers wanted to delay it. That's my comparison. It's
No,
not
I'm just talking
necessarily
about the levels. I'm just talking about the levels of bad here. They're
right.
both bad. I'm just talking about the levels.
Right.
Cyberpunk, you couldn't play the game. Whereas Gotham Knights, you just lower your expectations and you'll be fine. Let's go to the chat real quick, Cozy, before
totally
you jump in.
playable.
What's playable?
Cyberpunk. Plenty of people played it.
On Xbox One, PS4?
I know people who played it on Xbox One.
I will mute you, Cozy.
Not the
Let's
base
go to the
one,
chat.
but on Xbox
le-
One.
Let's go to the chat. 108 Dragon says, let's be serious. If it had a performance mode, nobody would say ish. Yes, because res priority is 95%, is always FPS, and performance mode is 1800 to 1440, 60 FPS or dynamic 4K scaling. Okay, that got very technical very fast. Stankmore says exactly. I was day 1 too, but they lost me. Yes, 100. Okay, let's keep it moving. RIP Gotham Knights. We will see you at Game Pass 2024. Next we have oh my god. G4 TV has been shut down. Parent company Comcast Spectator is shutting down G4 TV after barely a year after reviving the gaming-centric TV channel. Sentinel, are you heartbroken that G4 TV is gone?
I mean, not really. It's kind of a self-inflicted wound. I think I understand the reason behind the rant that started everything, but I think they didn't think of the repercussions of, basically pissing off 95% of your audience.
Stop. So you're saying you believe that Frost's rant ended the channel?
Yeah, it's so you've heard the saying, shoot yourself in the foot. That was pretty much a double shotgun blast to the legs. That wasn't even the foot. Yeah,
Sawed
it
off
killed it.
or just a normal? What type of shotgun are we talking about?
I mean,
And was it buckshot or was it?
with as bad as she did it, I would say it was an RPG. It wasn't even a shotgun.
Wow. All right then. Ham Solo, are you heartbroken and are you blaming Frost?
I'm not heartbroken, but I'm also not blaming Frost either on this one. Not even slightly, in my opinion. They just sucked. That's just what it was. To me, they didn't have anything to offer that you couldn't get somewhere else. And what
Like
they
on
had to
SWS?
offer, and what they had to offer was seemingly ignorant takes by a lot of different people.
Oh,
So it just so not only was it not that interesting, not only did you have a lot of kind of like ignorant takes, but people are also not viewing content the same way that they did back when, your cable or satellite provider was the only thing you could really watch back in the day. YouTube was a buffering reject back in the day. You would hit play on something on YouTube, hit pause, and walk away for 5 minutes and let that mug load for a little bit, so you can watch the first 10 minutes of something. Then it starts buffering again. People didn't want to deal with that back in the day, so they just watched something like G4.
I used to download video. I found that more efficient.
But now you can interact with the people on panels. You can, get information from, people you wouldn't have thought of getting information from. You can literally
What's the ugly host?
You can literally talk to like developers if you play your cards right and stuff like that. So seeing the stuff on G4 and then on top of that, like you like they didn't have like the interest that like a Game Awards or something like that would bring you, where it's like you can only see this here now. World premiere, exclusive. Like you didn't see any of that stuff. You just seen a bunch of people talking that you don't exactly agree with, which is fine. But when that is your main meat and potatoes to something, it's just like, man, I'd rather pay a super chat and talk to somebody than pay for that program.
Speaking of super chats, real quick, we have a Patreon, and thank you very much for the people that have been supporting us for the last 2 months. Seriously, you guys are awesome. Thank you very much. Let's go to the chat real quick. 108 Dragon says, Adam Sessler, my guy, but they tried to act Hollywood at PAX East when gamers tried to speak to them. I was shocked. Stay humble and sociable.
Ooh, right, let me make a point to that real quick.
All right.
I feel like one of the biggest issues with something like a G4, and I feel like this is very similar to like IGN, Game Rant, and some of these other places. No, I'm not. I'm putting IGN all the way into this. Sometimes Sometimes the authenticity seems dead. You see it in game reviews. You see it in like you see it from these big platform podcasts and stuff like that, where it's just like, I see that you want to say what you want to say, but you're not. You're holding something back. You're trying to be politically correct, and being politically correct to a bunch of gamers is the wrong fucking move, because the gamers want to hear exactly what the fuck you got to say, as raunchy, as honest, as opinionated as possible. But when you have something like G4 where they're trying to be PC but still get under your skin, it's a bad mix, and it's not going to work for anybody. People are going to hate you talking out of the side of your mouth about PlayStation, but you don't know anything about PlayStation. You're hyping up Xbox, but your gamer score is just horrible. Or not even gamer score, just like, what have you played lately? Where are you at? What's going on? Like, who are you gaming with every night? Probably nobody. And people see right through that stuff. They don't want to hear somebody just rant about something that they don't really know much about when they can't detect your passion behind it at all. It just seems like you're trying to be cool. Nah, not with gamers. Gamers want that reality. Gamers want that shit in their face.
Until you added IGN, I was with you. Cozy, G4TV.
I will say Ham hit like every point very correctly. Because here's the
IGN?
Yes. Here's the thing. I don't care about gaming conversation from people I don't know. And not only that, but let me tell you, from someone who never had cable or anything growing up and hasn't had a TV or as an adult in my entire life. So, since 2000, I've not had cable in my life, and I grew up, I moved out in 2006. So, for that entire time, I have no frame of reference for G4 TV. I have no frame of reference for what it is even. I assumed this entire time it was someone's YouTube channel that I don't care about, so I didn't watch. And then finally I was like, when I found out it was like, oh yeah, it was like a TV channel, I was like, what year is it? That was like first reaction, was like, oh, this is a TV channel? What year is it? Like, what gamer is being like, man, let me turn on my cable and watch, network television to listen to someone's essentially podcast when I can get all the same thing from someone I know, someone who's like more enjoyable. So basically what Ham said is like all of that.
So it wasn't Frosk's rant.
No, like it had nothing to do. It was basically a stupid idea that came from people that were probably old and out of touch.
Old and out of touch.
Like the executives. Those are like usually old and out of touch people who are like, man, the kids these days need something on cable to get their gaming content from. And it's like, what young person even knows for real cable like that?
All right, fine. Let me address something real quick for anyone that hasn't been watching TSWS for a while. I kept for IGN because they were one of the first that gave me a chance and a platform as a writer. So I will continue to cap. Yes, they're not what they used to be. But to me, they will always be IG fucking N. I said it. Cancel me, unfollow me. I don't care.
I understand that you have that sentimental attachment. I do not.
No, I'm not going to pretend to have that for you, bruh. I'm sorry. Love you, dog. But IGN to me is just kind of wishy-washy. Like sometimes I'm like, yeah, I feel that. And sometimes I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's bearing IGN in the chat. Sentinel says it used to be the GOAT 15 years ago. Damn. Waterway Dragon says facts now watered down BS. All right, man, it's fine. You know what? The same way I'm sticking with my Lakers, I'm sticking with IGN. I said it. Anyways, last year we have Microsoft lays off almost 1,000 employees. Microsoft confirms a new round of job cuts, which reportedly affect around 1,000 employees across a multitude of departments worldwide. To explain the situation, Microsoft reported the company's slowest revenue growth in more than 5 years in the quarter that ended on September 30th and claimed, like all companies, we evaluate our business priorities on a regular basis and make structural adjustments accordingly. We will continue to invest in our business and hire in key growth areas in the year ahead. Sentinel, why all these layoffs? We are all speculating here. None of us have been in the Microsoft boardroom, but why do you think this is happening now?
I think it's not just Microsoft that's laying off employees. It's a lot of companies. We're kind of in a global recession right now. I guess it's building. You see the market kind of flux a little bit. And I think tech companies are always going to be some of the first tech companies to lay off people. Whenever a recession comes, it's kind of like their preventative measures so that they can start cutting costs. And so the value of their company doesn't really decrease as much with that recession, because the recession is going to hit big companies hard. So it's a precautionary measure. It's not just Microsoft. You're seeing a lot of companies do it right now.
So this has nothing to do with Xbox taking L's left and right.
No. I mean, they're not stating,
right.
They're not taking L's left and right, but
Did you just say we? Christ.
I said they're not taking L's left and right. No.
Oh, okay. I thought you said we. I was like, what?
No.
Okay,
I mean,
Cosby.
if they were taking L's left and right, they'd have to be PlayStation, right?
Yes.
Damn.
Oh my God.
Oh
wow.
All the body.
Wow. Cozy. Almost 1,000 layoffs at Microsoft.
For a company Microsoft size, that's actually incredibly small.
Yes.
But yeah, like Sentinel said, the sale, that's what you do in preparation. And the thing is, a lot of times, when you look at who they get rid of, the first people they look for are redundancies, low performers. Because a lot of companies will hang on to low performers during the good times. They'll just keep them on. But then once things get bad, they're like, oh, we look at these people, they haven't performed. Like, you can perform terribly at a company for years. And then you're good until, you're not. companies don't like firing people a lot of times. American companies do not like firing people. So, yeah.
Okay. Cozy brought up a very important point. Microsoft employs the fifth most people. Like in terms of companies, they're the fifth most, or the fifth biggest on the planet. So 1,000 really is like a minuscule number. Before we go to Ham, let's go to the chat for a bit. Dre Watson says, I think the Frost grant was the tipping point, but G4 tried to get in on the increase of the gaming market and community, and they failed miserably. Oh, well. You know what? They should have come to talk to me and Ham. We would have sorted it out. 108 Dragon still ripping IGN, says IGN said Game Pass is not sustainable. Yes, they did say that. But to be fair, and this is a quick lesson for anyone who doesn't know, IGN publish articles. Writers write the articles. So technically what you should say is so-and-so said Game Pass is not sustainable, then IGN published it. I just found out that 108 Dragon is a Laker fan, and you are now my brother for life, 108 Dragon. Welcome to the brotherhood. Dre Watson is still enjoying the PlayStation shade. You need to stop. Settle down, man. Stop laughing. Sentinel, I would say IGN's defense, they're not the most out of touch gaming. Yes, Kotaku takes that one. Ham Solo, is Microsoft laying off so many people because Game Pass is not sustainable?
What? They said Microsoft is laying off. They're saying Microsoft is laying off 1,000 plus employees. They didn't say Xbox Studios or Xbox is
this
laying
guy should
off.
Be a lawyer. Someone hire Ham Solo.
I'm just saying, like, if Sony said, "Yo, we let go of 1,000 employees," is it from Sony Pictures? Is it from, like their hardware, their hardware team? Like what does that mean? So I'm pretty sure this 1,000 is a bunch of different people from all over the company, and
6%
not
from Xbox.
What's that?
6% from Xbox.
Is that the number for that?
Yeah.
So what is that
rumor.
like?
It's not official. It's not official. The rumor is 6%.
6% is actually kind of low.
Yeah. So what's that? 60 people?
Yeah. Yeah. If it's close to 1,000, yeah, we're talking about 60 people.
Yeah. So I mean, even in all of Xbox development, which there are like 25 studios or something like that right now, they laid off just over 2 people per studio. Like that's when you start breaking it down, it's like, whoa. I mean, 1,000 people is a lot of people, no matter what, right? But when you talk about it as like the whole company, like lost that many people, it's like, oh well, that sucks, but that's not like any tipping point or anything like that. It's definitely not something to bat an eye about. Just something to feel a little bad about, Oh, you lost your job. That sucks.
All right. In conclusion, for the people that lost their jobs, good luck, guys. If you're watching, I wish you all the best. Hope you find a job at PlayStation or something. We're done with the news. Game predictions. Here we go. We only have 3 games coming next week. So first we have Signalis coming out October 27th. It's a survival horror game coming out on all platforms. Cozy, what is your Metacritic prediction for Signalis?
What?
Is Cozy there?
76.
76. Ham Solo, Signalis, what is your Metacritic prediction?
73.
73. No one is feeling Signalis. Sentinel, what's your Metacritic prediction?
Maybe 79.
Almost an 80. Next, we have the least controversial game coming out of Japan next week, Bayonetta 3. Cozy, what's the Metacritic prediction for
88.
88? Woo! Even with the different voice actress. Okay, Ham Solo.
I'm going for a
Bayonetta 3.
91.
Yeah, I think we're around there with Bayonetta 3. Go ahead, Sentinel. Bayonetta 3. What's your prediction?
I think it's going to be a 93.
93. Okay. Last we have the most throwaway first-person shooter no one even gives a shit about. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 coming out October 28th. Cozy, what's the score?
79.
79. Ham Solo, the forgettable Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
I think since they're taking a year off, I think this is going to get like 86.
Ooh. Okay. Sentinel, what's the score?
I think an 89.
89.
Oh wow, that's high.
Played it.
Hey,
So
that's
I
very
see
high for COD.
you know.
That is very high.
I thought I was
Okay,
shooting
that's
for
what
this
we-
guy.
Yeah. This guy's going for the moon. Results. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed got a score of 79. Cozy said 81. Mad Likes Game 72. Ham 77. The Salt Mines Full of Salt said 95. Naturally, Cozy and Ham had a tie on this one. There's a 2-point difference. So I'm giving you guys one each. Next, we have A Plague Tale. The score was 85. Cozy said 88. Matt Likes Games said 85. And Ham said 86. So Matt Likes Games also has 1 point. Next, we have Second Extinction. It didn't get a review, and Cozy was the only one who said it wouldn't get a review. So Cozy now has 2 points. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves on PC. Cozy said 89. Mad Likes Games 92. Ham Solo 87. Sentinel 97. Trolling, of course. Ham actually got this one right because he said 87 and the score was 88. So we had a draw. No one gets a point. So carry on from previously. Cozy has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cozy has 6 wins on game predictions. Ham Solo still stuck on 0. Bagel. People, let's go for the notable tweets.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, this was gonna be fun. Let's start with an easy one. Osama Dorias said gamers shouldn't be allowed to criticize game devs until they've made a game. Sentinel, I'm gonna let you go first on this one.
Oh, that's the stupidest take I think I've ever heard in my life.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Just saying. Because it's basically like you don't have the right to criticize food unless you've cooked something. I mean, it's like if the food is garbage, you're going to know when you first eat it. You don't have to have cooked the food to understand that the food isn't quality. You don't have to develop a game to note that Cyberpunk had too many issues at launch. So you shouldn't have to develop something to know whether it's a good game or not, or to even criticize it about certain things. You know?
All right. Cozy.
Yeah, food tastes good. I don't see you can know if like a game at least should do something just by looking at other games similarly.
But is it fair to compare food in video games?
Yes.
Why?
Because you can. I mean, so I think it's not always fair, but it's like the same way where you can logically be like, well, this game doesn't suck, but it's not for me. Like same thing with food. You can be like, I don't like this food, but it doesn't mean it tastes bad. And the same way you can do it for a game. But you can look at the process. You can look at like how other games function and say, hey, comparatively, you're able to compare. That's how no one just is exactly the same as other people.
Okay.
So saying like, oh yeah, this is exactly the same. as like how everything else functions is not going to work. It's never going to be a 2-for-1 comparison.
Okay, Ham Solo, are we about to have like for the first time? Are we all going to agree on the panel that this is a bad take?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think this take was said incorrectly. I feel like if the person said, if you're not into these kind of games, your opinion is less credible. But it's not completely, out of credit. So, like, example, I put on a shoe. Like, for instance, I like for Nikes, for me, I can't wear Nikes that well. Like, they're just not that comfortable for me. Can I not say that, hey, Nikes suck for me? No, I can absolutely say that. But if somebody were to ask me, yo, do you like Nike shoes? And I say no, then I can't hate them for not liking my opinion. So I just think that if this statement was worded better, it would have made sense. But to say, yo, you don't like this game, you can't really tell me whether liking something is like appropriate or not because you don't make games. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, come on.
Sweet. Osama Dorias canceled it. He closed his account, but I have to say to him, well done, dude. You united the entire panel for the first time.
Time.
Well done, Dove. Well done. Worth it.
But I'm just confused as to how someone can carry the thing, like, because that also implies, like, because to take that what he said further is like that implies that you have to work on every aspect, and like a lot of people, in these big companies, that work on game dev, they don't work on every aspect of the game. So saying like that, it's like the other implication would be that you have to work on every aspect of the game to criticize anything.
Yeah. So if you work with audio, don't you dare talk about optimization. If you work with translation, don't you dare talk about audio.
Yeah. Every director of a film hasn't used a camera before. Are you going to tell the director that, hey, when he said that you shot that wrong, he should go back and learn how to shoot camera first before he tells me if I shot the picture right or wrong? It's like, no, that guy's going to tell you you're fired and get the fuck out of the building.
Speaking of shooting, Ham Solo.
Uh-oh. I heard this thing.
Pour one out for Lo.
Kick right out. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was perfect. On my screen, it looks like you're pouring something right over the top of him. Yeah, he is. He's dead in space right now. But oh my goodness, have any of you guys played Plague Tale yet? I know Cozy hasn't.
I have to for
my
points.
Back?
Oh, Loke's back. Never mind.
All right. Next notable tweet, Kevin S. says, the thing about Frosk is that her rant didn't come across as anti-sexist and more like she was angry, bitter, and jealous of much more attractive and talented women. Cozy, I'm going to go to you first.
Yeah?
Do you agree with this statement?
So I think Frost's statement is correct. But I also, think, there's a certain amount of, you have to accept that when you're a woman, unless you're one of the more attractive ones, people care less. You don't matter as much if you're less attractive. And I think so, like, it's okay to state, like, what Frost did, but, you just accept it. Move on.
So you agree with Frost?
Kind of. And I also think, we already know this, that if you're more attractive, people inflate your skill. So more attractive people are not typically as skilled necessarily. It's very true because they get away with being less skilled because they have their attractiveness.
You said more attractive people and not more attractive women.
I mean, it's true for guys too.
Thank you. So it's not sexism. It's not sexism. It's
no
attractivism.
Yes.
tough tits. All right, tough. If you're not pretty, tough. I'm not pretty. I've been told. And
Exactly.
I made peace with it.
Not
and I
you.
moved on with my life.
Not you.
You're
The
very
same
correct,
thing.
sir. You're very correct on that.
Same thing. You know,
Buzz
you
off,
just accept it, and you know, because like, yeah,
Spitting
I'm not
blaming
facts,
pretty.
other
look.
people.
You
I'm
spitting
just,
not
like-
facts.
blaming other people because of genes. All right.
I think
Also, she needs to brush her teeth.
the other thing about Frost
Oh my
that
God.
I think the thing is, I'm gonna say something that's race related. I think it's harder. It's harder to be like, I am a not attractive black.
Oh, that's too much.
So, you know, that's whatever. I'm not
said
ugly.
that,
I'm not
Cozy?
saying that I'm ugly. But I'm
Who
saying
said? Have
I'm
you
not-
seen the chat, Cozy?
what I'm saying is that it's harder to be less attractive and a white woman, I think.
Ooh.
Because you're the standard. So when people don't view you as attractive, it's harder. Whereas I expect people to not view me as attractive.
Everyone in the chat, type dub
No.
if you think Cozy is
No.
attractive.
Stop.
We
Stop.
are not thirst trapping.
Stop.
And
That
by
is-
not
stop.
attractive, I
knew
don't
where he
mean
was
that
going.
I'm ugly.
Stop.
I don't
Pause.
mean I know I'm not
Lynn
ugly.
said now they can type whatever they want. Okay, so Ham, do you think her rant came off as just jealous of Olivia Munn and the other hot chicks on G4TV?
Maybe.
All right, moving on. Gendo was right. Said for a company, dude, I know when you don't want to touch something, not even with a 10-foot pole.
It's just stupid
Gendo was
to me.
right.
I
Gendo was
hate
right.
questions like that.
All right, Gendo was right. Our like one of our guests said for a company that a lot of people think is dead, Sega still has multi-billion annual revenue. Not bad. So this one I think is interesting because we're talking about Sony maybe dying. Talk about hyperbole because of losing Call of Duty. Sentinel, do you think that Sony would be fine becoming a third-party publisher like Sega
Oh my God.
if they struggled, if they started struggling after the Activision purchase?
Yes.
Or do you think they would fight like tooth and nail to the grave?
They'd be all right because they have a lot of IPs that they're. I think they actually have more IPs that they're not putting out right now than IPs that they are putting out right now. I mean, it's not just SOCOM. You're talking about Infamous. You're talking about Twisted Metal. You're talking about MotorStorm. You're talking about The Getaway, Sly Cooper, Resistance. I'm probably missing 10 of them, but those are big titles that they're just sitting on. So if they went third party, they could possibly make more money than they're making right now because they wouldn't have to invest in consoles.
Facts. All right, Ham, do you think PlayStation would fight to the grave, or would they pivot like Sega did?
I think they'd fight to the grave. They're a hardware company.
Damn.
They're not a
You
software
think
company.
Eddie like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at them right now. I mean,
Hey, Jim Ryan is doing what every exec should do. All right, Cozy.
yeah, sure. But fact of the matter is they're a hardware company, and I think that they see themselves as so. They fought tooth and nail for them cassettes, so like Walkmans. They fought tooth and nail for TVs, camcorders, and cameras and whatnot. Like, they will fight until they have no more. I don't think they will concede until they like get wiped out. Like they'd have to get wiped out and then come back as a third party. And I think if they did get wiped out, it'd be much uglier than Sega.
Okay, before Cozy jumps in, 108 Dragon says we need Sony around. Competition is great. That's why we have these combos. 108 Dragon, my brother in purple and gold. The same way we needed Sega, and then when Sega left, someone else filled the void. I can 100% guarantee you that in the biggest and most profitable entertainment industry on the planet, if Sony vacates their position, someone's coming in. I don't care if it's Google, Amazon, someone is coming in. Believe
Sega,
it.
Sega went out on they screwed it up for themselves, but you had Google come in and they tried to get involved, and because they didn't know what they were doing, they're right back out. So
And it's not just because they didn't know what they were doing. It's not just because they didn't know what they were doing. Dude, at some point, the market is saturated. The same way with streaming platforms. When we had just Netflix, it was fine. And then Hulu. And then HBO Max. And then Disney Plus. And then at some point, the value for money just doesn't make sense. And I believe that 3 consoles is the limit. Once you add a fourth, for whoever the fourth is got a long road ahead of them if they're gonna become anything. They have to do something different, like what the Steam Deck is doing.
Google
It's a
did
console,
something.
but not
It wasn't
really.
a console though.
Sorry?
Google wasn't a console though.
Yeah, but they were still in parallel, kind of competing with Sony and PlayStation, Sony and Xbox. The Steam Deck, for example, is competing with the Switch, but not really.
I think
Because
that's the
of
problem. They
all the
weren't
extras.
competing. They were the Sony wasn't. Google wasn't really competing with those. It was competing with things like GeForce Now. But its bigger problem is Google still has the tendency. I said this last time. They operate kind of like a tech startup, where you come up with an idea, you burn through it, and then if it doesn't pan out in 3 years, you dump it and sell it off.
Yeah, I agree with 108 Dragon says we have the perfect market with 2 facing off and 1 in their own lane. Actually, it's 2 in their own lane because of PC and Nintendo. But yeah, perfect market. Anyone else that tries to jump in through there is in trouble. The smart thing to do, if I owned Amazon, if I'm Jeff Bezos and I want to get into gaming, I'm making besties with whoever owns Sony. And I'm like, yo, let's do this. Let's do this.
I will forever
Amazon.
lump PC gaming with
Microsoft.
Xbox with Microsoft. I will forever do that. As much as people want to say,
man.
"Oh, it's different." How many people do you know that have Linux? Let's get real. How many people do you know that?
It's a
Linux
growing.
is.
It's a steady and kind of growing community. The problem is,
Yeah. So is the Steam Deck, Cozy, but ain't nobody saying it's beating out the PlayStation 5 or Xbox.
the Steam Deck caters to a different audience too. Steam Deck is an
Linux
ultra
is the same
enthusiast.
thing, Cozy. I'm with Ham on this one because Linux is in the same lane. They do have a dedicated group of people.
Yeah,
But you can't put them next to
they're
Microsoft.
ultra enthusiasts. But I mean, the reason I don't categorize them that way is because the only reason people play on Windows is because it's the least hassle for. But they're not dedicated. They're not going to go to the Windows Store. That's why Microsoft had to put their games on Steam. They're not going to go to the Windows Store. They don't care. That's why a majority of Game Pass subscribers are Xbox, because they see that Windows Store and they're like, ew, I don't want that.
I'm telling you, within the next 5-10 years, look out, Valve. Microsoft might be hungry again.
What is pointing out something that even you said about Xbox and PC being the same thing. I'm now thinking maybe that's why a lot of PlayStation fanatics get really pissed off when their games go to PC, because most of them probably view PC the same way you do, which is PC is essentially Xbox.
I don't think so.
You think that's fair?
I think it is.
I feel like a lot more of them, it's because, for example, people, your average gamer isn't going to care about their exclusive going to wherever. But these people, that are, brand, enthusiasts, they care because they see it as, the premium experience. It can only be held here. And they don't like the way that PC gamers view things very differently. And they don't like the fact that a lot of PC gamers can live without these games and are comfortable waiting years. You know how they gloat about like, haha, but you had to wait like 5 years for this game to come to PC. PC gamers don't care. They will wait. They will wait.
As if it's rot and goes bad.
Yes. Like we've seen that with even before PlayStation started bringing their games to PC. You saw them putting games on the Epic Store, and PC gamers were like, "I'll wait for Steam. I will wait for Steam." And sure enough, once it came to Steam, it would get those sales. So you see the same thing. It's sort of like there's a lot more variety of the kinds of people that play on PC. It's either because it's the best platform for like high end, it's either because it's the cheapest platform for low end, it's because it's the best experience for certain games. Like, why would you play Sims on if you had a console, I guess. I understand playing Sims on console.
And
sorry,
that OS is
gamers,
Windows.
But it's the weakest way. But yeah, so you can say that, but it's like they don't care about the Xbox experience. They don't care. Windows is just the best platform. If, Mac OS was the best, way to play a PC game, they would be there.
But the thing is it's not Xbox or PC players that care. It's PlayStation fans that care about this. To me, when a PlayStation fan says, "I don't like Xbox, I got PC and PlayStation," I'm just like, bro, you're pretty much saying I don't like Costco, but I fuck with Kirkland. like Kirkland is the main selling thing at Costco.
On the PlayStation community. On that note, let's go to quiz time. I will. No, there's too much. It's too much shade. Let's move on.
What? Not shading?
No, stop shading the PlayStation community.
Sony needs to give us dreams, because like give it out, like make sure it's on like PC, and then make it VR, and then use it for PS Home, and then make it.
Ain't here to give nothing. Support the devs. Buy $550 console. Buy the controller. Buy the headphones. Buy everything. All right, then play your dreams. Anyways, so I don't know who's going first between Ham and Cozy. Sentinel's definitely going first. So I have this pin. Here. I'm gonna put it in one of my hands. And Cozy, you're gonna pick with no. Cozy's picking. Cozy, my left or my right? Which one are you going with?
The one without the ring.
That's my right. So okay. You got it right. Cozy's going first. Oh, Cozy's going second, then Ham's going last. So Ham, don't give me no shit about going last.
I was even trying to be
don't give me no rubbish. Don't give me no rubbish about going last, Ham. All right, Sentinel, you know the rule, right?
You make it sound like I do.
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
Okay, Sentinel, the rules as follows. I'm gonna make a statement. I'm going to then say true or false, and you need to pick between true or false.
Okay.
So you have
like
a 50%
K-Mega, you
chance.
can have a 10-minute segment.
Bro,
I'm trying
can
to
you
answer your
stop
question.
bagging on
You
K-Mega?
can be wrong and still get the question right.
Can you stop bagging on K-Mega, please? Please. He's had enough else, all right? Okay, Sentinel. Oh, also, today, quiz time is a bit special. All the questions are going to be centered around Call of Duty.
No!
Yes, sorry.
No! Whoa.
It's the biggest game coming out right now.
I know. I've never played
Loke,
any.
we probably got to get moving, though, because I think we got to get to the Doomsayers.
All right. Sentinel. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 launches on October 27th. True or false?
False.
Correct. Cozy.
Yeah.
COD Modern Warfare 3 is the fastest selling game of all time. True or false?
False.
True. Ham Solo. The previous record for the fastest selling game was held by another game in the Call of Duty franchise, being COD Black Ops. True or false?
True.
Correct. Sentinel. Modern Warfare 3 made $775 million in its first 5 days. That's slightly less than Avatar, the highest grossing film of all time. True or false? Sorry?
True.
It's false. Modern Warfare 3 made more than Avatar in its first 5 days. Cozy.
Yeah.
Activision found that global players cumulatively spent the equivalent of 1,900 years playing the game.
True.
Is that true? Oh, damn. Okay. Correct. Cozy scores a point. Ham Solo, over 1 billion UAVs have been shot down across the entire franchise. True or false?
I think that has to be true.
It's false. It's over 813 million. It still hasn't hit a billion.
Oh, damn. That's close. So.
Yeah. Sentinel, over the course of an entire franchise, an astronomical 20 billion hours have been put into the game in playtime. True or false?
True.
Correct. False. It's 25 billion. Cozy. Activision has logged over 5 million players at once during the days of Black Ops and Modern Warfare 2. True or false?
True.
Correct. Cozy's in the lead, ladies and gentlemen. Ham Solo.
You guys.
Ham Solo. Lawyers of the former Nicaraguan dictator Manuel Noriega filed a lawsuit against the game for using his likeness without permission and portraying him as a murderous kidnapper. True or false?
True.
Correct. Ham Solo and Cozy square. Sentinel. One of the longest running COD Easter eggs is a stuffed polar bear. True or false?
True.
False. It's a teddy bear. Cozy. Footage of a destroyed
Wait.
war-torn...
What was the question?
One of the longest running COD Easter eggs is a stuffed polar bear.
Okay, I'll allow it. All teddy bears are stuffed.
Oh, Christ. Cozy. Footage of a destroyed war-torn New York City was shown in a North Korean propaganda film. The footage was actually a cutscene from Modern Warfare 3. True or false?
False.
True. Ham. In 2012, Japanese gamer Okan Kaya set a Guinness World Record by playing COD for 135 hours straight. True or false?
I'm going to go with false.
Correct. He's Australian. Ham Solo takes the lead. Last round. Sentinel has no chance of winning. You only have 1 point. COD has a China-only version of the game called Call of Duty Online. Players are able to modify the appearance of their avatar through microtransactions, but the game itself is free to play. True or false?
True.
Correct. At least you got the last one. Cozy, you need to get this one. You need to get this one to draw with Ham.
I'm gonna lose.
Henry Cavill has voiced a character in a COD game. True or false?
True.
False, Cozy.
I don't even know much about that. How am I supposed to know? I've never played a Call of Duty game.
All right, Ham. Last question. Victory lap. Modern Warfare was the third game in the franchise to earn an M rating, despite the game's depiction of violence throughout the series. True or false?
False.
I was staring daggers into you. Did you feel stabbed?
It was actually the first one.
Did you feel stabbed? I was staring daggers into you.
Did I get that right?
Yes, Ham, you got it right. 4
I just
out
wanted
of
you
5
to say
correct.
it one more time. I already knew I got it right.
Whatever. Ham now has 9 victories. Ham now has 9 victories in quiz time. Go ahead, give us your rant so I can give my last point and we can close the show for today.
All right, so I tell you what. If you guys rock with PC, and you rock with PlayStation and Xbox, you got to figure out a way to put all of that stuff together, stop all this console war and stuff about what's better. We all know PC is the best place to play. It just is what it is. It's not always the most comfortable place to play, but it is the best place to play. So all of this craziness about Gotham Knights, Plague Tale, all I really got to say is you knew PC was the best and you divulged into a different avenue. That's a you problem. That's this is my rant time, Cozy. You take a seat. I'm telling you, if you have the opportunity and you can, stop messing around with these consoles or get the console of choice that you really want and start saving instead of getting all these accessories and all this nonsense. And I'd even go as far as to say, stop buying all these crazy price games for $70. Because hell, you buy 7 games for $70, you could have had a damn near a PC. So go on ahead, quit tripping, get yourself a PC so you can do things like I am, playing on Game Pass with a PS5 controller. You can do it. It's dope. I highly recommend it. Getting them haptic triggers on an Xbox platform. Man, nothing makes you feel like you stealing like that. Rant done.
All right. Last point. I'm tired of this acquisition talk. Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard is the longest foreplay in the history of corporate copulation. We can't even say get a room anymore. Now we have to ask, are y'all done yet? As for G4TV, it was going to fail either way. Frost did not cause the downfall of G4TV. She just helped it along. G4TV lived long enough to see itself become the villain. We are all better off with it just as a memory. In the now infamous words of Frost, if you don't like TSWS gaming, watch it, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell. Peace!
What? What? Wait.